Hi, kinder friends. So we are back with our second math lesson on measurement. And the other day, or the last video, we talked about how we are going to be doing non-standard measurement. And we talked about the rules of how you measure. So we talked about how we measure using the same unit. We start on the edge, so tip to tip. And we do not go over or have gaps in our measuring. And then we also talked about the different types of measurement, because we don't just measure how long or short things, and there's very different ways to measure a lot of different things. So the different types of measurements are length, height, capacity, and weight. And today we're going to be talking about length. When we talk about length, we're talking about how long something is. So here's our anchor chart on length. So when we measure how long or short an object is, that's what length is. So here's a crayon, and if you notice, the crayon is laying flat. And here it is. Remember, start at the edge, tip to tip, no gaps, measuring how long a crayon is, and then they're also measuring the length of a paper clip. So here's a Unifix cubes, tip to tip, edge to edge. And some of the keywords that you're going to use when you're talking about how long or short something is first of all that you're measuring length. So that is a key mathematician word. Another word you should look for is for the word long and short. So here's some other vocabulary. So there's long and short again. But you can say that some things are either the same length or equal length. Same and equal are synonymous, or they mean the same thing. You're also going to be using the word length. Now, if somebody says, I need to know what length it is, you know that they're talking about measuring how long it is across. So you're not going up and down, but you're going left to right. So we are going to be talking about length today. So I have a couple of things. Now, my unit of measurement is going to be Unifix cubes because they're easier for you to see and for me to show you. But when we work together, we're going to be using pennies as our unit of measurement, or Q-tips, or the other one was, you can use paper clips if you have them at home, or your crayons can also be a unit of measurement because usually they're the same size, especially if you have a new box. So you're not going to be using different size crayons, but all the same. So I have a couple of things here, and I just wanted to model for you measuring using Unifix cubes as my measurement of unit. So here we go. All right, boys and girls, so I will try to hold this as steady as I can, but here are my Unifix cubes. This is a tower of 10, so there's 10 Unifix cubes on here. Now, the first thing I'm going to measure is my crayon. So if I put my crayon edge to edge right there, we can count how long it is. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5, Unifix cubes long. So I'm going to break off that piece. Oh, one more. And you will see that if I put them next to each other, it is tip to tip. There's no gaps, and I do it from the edge. So that is how we measure something. Now, the next thing I'm going to measure is my teeny tiny bell that I got in France. So here it is. Now, if I look at this, I am not going to measure like that. Because if I measure that way, I'm measuring how tall it is. And I want to know how long it is. So if I put this right here, and I know it's a little bit harder, but there it is. It's actually tip to tip. And it's harder because it's circular and this is not. So that is 1 Unifix cube long. So if I'm looking at these two together, I would say that the bell is shorter than the crayon, right? Because this has 1 and this has 5. So the bell is shorter than the crayon, or you can say that the crayon is longer than the bell. So there's 2. Let's try a different one. Now I'm going to get this piece of tape here. If you can see, it's just tape. And again, I will tell you, when you're measuring length, we're not going to go up and down like this because that is not length. We're looking to know how long it is. So we are going to put Unifix cubes tip to tip just like that. And look, there it is. Actually, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is tape is 4 Unifix cubes long. Now, what if I put a marker? Already, if you put them side to side, you can see that the marker is definitely longer. But one way to verify is to go ahead and measure how long the marker is. So we're going to put Unifix cubes and we're going to go edge to edge, tip to tip, no gaps. We're going to go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a marker is 7 Unifix cubes long. And tape is 1, 2, 3, 4 Unifix cubes long. So there you see, even though you can tell by looking at them, this really gives us some data or some really good information that this is 4 Unifix cubes long and this is 7. And now we know that 7 is greater than 4. So we know that the marker is longer than the tape and the tape is shorter than the marker. So we will do one more, and for this, I'm going to get 2 similar things. So here's my cell phone. And they look very similar, but there's my ink pad, right? It's what I use to stamp. As y'all know, I love stamping. And we are going to measure these side by side. Now, by looking at them, they almost look like they're the same. So let's find out. There's only one way to find out, and that's by measuring. So right next to this, I'm going to put these. So it looks like, here's the edge, there's tip. So let me put that side by side, and that's as close as we're going to get there, edge to edge, tip to tip. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to kind of scooch that off to the side. So that's 7 Unifix cubes long. I'm going to put this orange one right next to my phone. So there it is. And that's as close as we can get, boys and girls, because if I add one more, and I'll just show you. If I add one more, oh, there we go. So edge to edge, tip to tip. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if it's a little bit over, that's okay. We don't want it to be slightly under like that. Remember, edge to edge, tip to tip. We're not going to measure down here because then we're measuring the table, and then we're not measuring this part of the cell phone. So as close as you can get it, and if it goes a little bit over, that's okay. So here it is. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Unifix cubes, and my stamp pad has 7. So they look like they're almost the same size, but what we know is that the phone is 1 Unifix cube longer than the stamp pad. So there they are side by side. So now we know that the cell phone is longer than the stamp pad. All right, guys, so please remember the rules of measuring. You need to start at the edge. You need to measure tip to tip, and there should be no gaps when you are measuring, and that's going to help you determine or find out exactly if something is longer or shorter than other things. So we will keep working on this, and I hope to see you in the next video.